The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Welcome back to Chicago Theater Review. I'm Frank with my host Gail, and welcome back to our holiday special. And during that nice little 4-minute interruption, guess who came to visit us? We got a visit from the North Pole.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that.
These are not my elves.
So we got Santa Claus, and he's going to talk to all our special kids that are in the audience later on. But what I first want to do is, because this is the holiday show, we're going to talk about some of the shows that are playing in Chicago during the holiday season. The first one is at a nice theater out in Skokie called the Northlight Theater, and they're doing a Civil War Christmas.
I think Santa wants to talk a little
And
about shows
have
too.
you seen?
I have seen it. I try to see all these shows because they're all pertinent to the time of the year. Very interesting show. It was the main story, a lot of little stories going on, but the main story was about hope and love. During the Civil War, the slaves were freed, and a mother and her daughter were separated, and trying to find each other, and they never gave up. And at the end, they do find each other, and it's a kind of beautiful story. The only thing that bothered me, they had some great music in it and some wonderful singers, but the wonderful singers didn't do all the great music. So they kind of wasted some of the good singers that really could have belted it out a little bit and made us a little happier.
Well, let's show a clip of a Civil War Christmas. Okay, let's run that.
Got to find that girl. How shall I send thee? I'm gonna send thee one by one. One for the little bitty baby.
Did you shoot this? So they use all your clips. That's awesome.
Run to the church and call out the elders. It's a field agreement. I'm the man who cast the bronze statue of freedom, sitting astride the Capitol dome. Miss Johnson,
I'm the nurse that tends to the staff.
would you two kindly run to St. Paul's and call out Reverend Wallace Brown? Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm gonna send thee 2 by 2. 2 for Paul and Silas. 1 for the little bitty baby was born.
Okay, so that's a Civil War Christmas, and then we're going to move to the 20th century, and we're going to look at one. It's called It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and this is done at Theater in the Center in Indiana, which is one of those theaters that's worth the 45 to 50-minute drive to Indiana. I really like what they do. Have you gotten to see it yet?
I have. It's a Miracle on 34th Street.
Right.
And it's the musical version of it versus the one that's at the Porchlight is doing the Miracle on 34th Street with music. So there's a little bit of a difference. This is Meredith Wilson wrote this one, the music for this one. It's kind of not as good as the story.
Ooh, Santa's finding fault.
Yeah, well, Miracle on 34th Street that's over on Belmont is a much better production, much stronger production. I think Wilson tried to put a little too much music in it and tried to make it too musical. And the story is so good and so real that you didn't need to add all that to it. And the actors work hard. It's a nice, clean production. But if if you only have one Miracle on 34th Street to see, I'd go to the theater building, stage 773.
Okay.
Santa, I want to know how you find time to see all these shows.
Well, I have a lot of elves. They're doing all the work.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know.
Forgot about that.
We're unionized now.
He's got that new elf called Kmart. Let's see a clip from It's Beginning to Look Like Christmas. Want to play that clip?
You don't really mean that Macy's should love Gimbal. I do indeed. Everyone should love everyone. Neighbor Jones to Neighbor Brown. From all of the home folks to folks from out of town. From the Frenchmen to the English.
To the Irish just as well.
Minnesota, Texaco.
I think these are all yours. These are all yours.
To RKO. First to farmers with a hoe. From the bells in the steeple to a town of sleepy people. Here's love. Here's love.
From the girl left behind ya.
To the girl you're dreaming of. Here's love, love, love.
Well, I think we should all pay a visit to Gimbals and tell them about it.
On to Gimbal.
Come on, Susie.
Come on, Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred?
I'll have coffee with that donut.
You win.
Okay, so what I want to do is now that's at Theater in the Center in Indiana, but at the same time see both. See that version and then come over to Porchlight and see what Santa recommends. Now comes to one of my favorite holiday shows, and I saw this a couple times. It's A Wonderful Life. We've all seen the TV production, but this theater company has done such a wonderful job. Instead of turning it into a play, they turned it into a radio show. And you feel like you're really back in the 1940s, and the way they do it, you feel like you're a radio audience. And it actually gives you behind the scenes of what radio was really like in the 40s and 30s, and with all the special effects and how they did it. And after watching the show the first time several years ago, I actually started listening to the radio at 2 o'clock in the morning when I get off work sometimes, listening to the old-time radio. And now I understand why people were so enthralled and, just stuck by those radio sets for all those special shows, the work that you do. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, let's first show you a clip from this show.
No, not the old Granville house. I love that place.
No, you see, you make a wish and then you try to break a glass.
No, George, that place is so full of romance. I think I might like to live in it.
In that place? I wouldn't live there even as a ghost. Now watch this, Your Highness. Second floor, right above the parlor.
Hot dog.
What's going on over there?
Who's that?
It's just Old Man Collins. What'd you wish for, George?
Oh, not just one wish. A whole hatful, Mary. I know what I'm going to do tomorrow and the next day and the next year and the year after that. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. And then I'm going to come back here and go to college and see what they know. And then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build airfields. I'm going to build skyscrapers 100 stories high. I'm going to build bridges a mile long. And then I'm going to...
Are you going to throw a rock too? Hey, that's pretty good. What'd you wish for, Mary?
Oh, no. If I tell you, it may not come true.
Okay, now that's the scene from one of the scenes that we picked. Now, Santa, you've seen this before?
I've seen it before.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I've seen it, and in fact, I'm
holiday
going back to see it. I'm trying to sneak it in this next week. We're gonna get in to see it again because
Bring Mrs. Claus. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, she's got the group working on cookies too, so we've got a few extra things going. But I will get there.
Okay.
Let's mention this is the American Blues Theater,
That's correct, yeah.
and you are,
Marty Higginbotham, I'm the director of the production.
and
You have done a wonderful show, and we have a special thing. We actually brought in Kevin Kelly, who was in the last clip, and he's actually going to do another scene from that show. So I'm going to let him do the next scene, and then we're going to talk about it. So let's go right to Marty.
Just a minute. Now hold on, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say that my father was no businessman. I know that. Why he ever started this cheap penny ante building alone, I'll never know. But neither you nor anybody else can say anything against his character. Because his whole life was, well, in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? He didn't save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter, and what's wrong with that? Well, here, you're all businessmen here. Doesn't it make them better customers? Doesn't it make them better citizens? You said, what did you say a minute ago, that they had to wait and save their money before they even thought of a decent home? Wait. Wait for what? Until their children grow up and leave them? Until they're so old and broken down that... Do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Well, just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble that you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Was it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
Hey, that was good.
Wow.
This is an excellent show. I highly, highly recommend it. American Blues does some great stuff, and through the years you do some really phenomenal work. But this is one of the great holiday shows, and I really, really like it. And
You're a better George. I said this to you earlier. You're a better George Bailey than Jimmy Stewart.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just love that production.
Thanks.
I just think it's so amazing to see it on stage like that after we're so used to the movie.
It's such a joy. I mean, it's first of all, it's such a great story to tell, and I think our greatest task, or anyone presenting this show in any form, is to first off just try to stay out of the way of the story. Right? It's such a beautiful story, and to just try to support it and create that event for people coming to see the show, and that's what we've tried to do.
That's right.
you see how much work the actors have to do. Even though they don't have to worry about makeup and regular acting like when they're in front of a mic, you're playing so many different roles.
Yeah.
Now you got the toughest role, of course, so you don't play too many other characters.
No, I just play George Bailey.
He's the only one that doesn't play.
Everybody else is playing these different ones, and I have to admit, Mr. Bailey, he's evil.
Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter.
Yeah. Truly evil.
Yeah, that's right. Not Dad. Dad's not evil.
Everybody knows I'm dyslexic. I make so many mistakes.
They do now.
It was phenomenal. And his role that he does is just, you really hate him towards the end. But I'm more intrigued with the special effects that are going on, how they made it work the way they did.
It was fascinating, the stories and how in radio, because everything is being done with the voice, and we talk a lot about that in the rehearsal process, and we've chosen a presentation that might seem sort of counterintuitive at first, but all the actors are out and playing to the mic, at the same time telling the story to the folks who are listening at home, but being sure and giving the show to the studio audience that's there right there to see the show as well. And when you find that right balance, it's amazing how effective it is. It's just amazing.
I think part of it is that watching the Foley, the sound effects people, because when I was a kid, listening to radio and they first invented radio, and we used to sit and listen. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know where all those things were coming from. But being able to sit in an audience and actually watch it happen is a cool thing.
That's the best part. I was actually losing track of the show because I'm watching the special effects guy, seeing what he's going to do next, and then that's why you get to see it more than once this show. And you put so much energy into it. I mean,
thank you.
I remember when you come down towards the end, you are just sweating, and you just put so much energy. I really love it.
Thank you. That's a journey.
Let's first of all tell us where it's at. Tell everybody
Sure,
where it's at.
and the title of the show even helps you with that. It's A Wonderful Life live at the Biograph. So we're at the Victory Gardens Biograph Theater, beautiful space.
That space is really nice.
Newly christened Richard Christensen Theater, and it's a great space. It's 108 seats. There's not a bad seat in the house. You're right there with the audience. Yeah. It's a beautifully appointed space, and we love being there with Victory Gardens.
Yeah. So what else is on the horizon for American Theater Company?
American Blues.
American Blues Theater.
American Blues Theater. There's a couple things coming up. We've got the gala.
And then we also have Rantoul and Die, which is the creators of Two and a Half Men and Mike and Molly. And he wrote this script. It's a very funny, dark comedy. And it's with two other ensemble members, Kate Budicke and Shelgrave, as well as Fran Guinan and Alan Wilder. So two
From
Steppenwolf, two
When is-
Steppenwolf ensemble members, and
When's
two
that
American
gonna be
Blues.
playing? When's that going to start?
That's in the spring, in April.
That's in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay. So that should be a good one.
And you guys you guys were another ensemble company, and then you guys all kind of got together.
Yeah, it was
You wanted to stick together.
Sure, exactly. I mean, the company originally began in 1985 as American Blues Theater, and there was a name change in 1996,
Seven, yeah.
something like that. And then 2 years ago, the ensemble decided to sort of reignite the focus of what the original focus of the founders was. And so we went back to the name American Blues Theater, or an itinerant theater now, but have found a great home at Victory Gardens, and everyone at VG has been absolutely wonderful, and have been doing the show since the ensemble and me as the director since 2004.
So I mean, yeah, because the name sometimes scares people when you think of the blues, the American blues.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of blues music, and
Yeah.
I'm going, okay, what am I? And then when I first went there and then saw what you actually do, you do some really hard-hitting shows.
Well, the blues
Yeah.
focusing on the working class, but always with a sense of intimacy and care, and so it's about focusing on the common man, and you'll see all of our partnerships focusing with veterans organizations. We even do a soldier spotlight every night. We actually focus on a soldier or a veteran every night in the performance, and they're actually
Because I
featured in the
wanted to
show.
mention
Oh,
that
excellent.
you do that It's a Wonderful Life is with the American Vets and a couple other veteran organizations.
Absolutely.
And
then
whenever I
also-
see that, I feel good considering I'm a veteran and I've been in
Yeah.
for 20 years.
No,
so
it's
It's
great.
the only right thing to do. I
Yeah.
mean, it's such a. I mean, Jimmy Stewart, and we could talk long about that, but a huge war hero, and I could go through all of his credits. Just amazing man, amazing pilot. And
We also do Lynn Sage Foundation for the previews, so we're calling it Pink Previews for,
For breast
breast
cancer
cancer,
research.
breast
That's
cancer
very nice.
research too.
so a percentage of the proceeds from the entire preview run will go to the Lynn Sage Foundation.
So every show that we do will always have some kind of an outreach attached to each show that
And
we're
what are
associated
the
with.
dates that it's running?
Through December 31st. So we had first preview last night, running through December 31st.
Are you going to do a New Year's show?
A New Year's
Yes,
Eve show.
absolutely. And it
New Year's
starts,
Eve show.
I believe New Year's Eve
and
show.
It's in the afternoon. It's a
See,
matinee.
there's so much stuff to do for New Year's too. If anybody's looking for something, you
Yeah.
probably don't think of that, but you can go to the
Start
theater.
the New Year's Eve, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
start
right.
it off
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
So let's go to our special guest because I know there's a lot of people that want to meet him. Santa, thanks for coming back to our show.
My pleasure.
I
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. I've got a ton of kids in these audience that want to meet you.
Okay.
But the first one I want to bring down is this little girl, and you all met her last year. Come over here. You're sitting on my lap.
Wait a second.
You're going to sit on Santa's lap, but you've got something to say, right? Because you're doing something very special today. And what are you going to be doing? Do you know? Oh, you don't know? Well, one of our sponsors for the show is the American Girl Store. American Girls downtown, the doll store, right? And you went last year, right? And you had a really good time, right? Tell them that you can speak. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, go see Santa. He'd rather talk to you.
Okay, that's Bridget. Okay, you guys, come on up here.
Come on up.
Now,
Angeline.
you thought about what I
Yes.
asked you before.
Yes.
Do you remember what you had for breakfast? You do? You're going to tell me?
Where's Kim and all her kids?
Oatmeal. That's good. A good thing to have on a day like this. I had oatmeal too.
Joey?
Raisins. I put raisins in mine.
Okay.
Some of these kids I met when I came in.
Yeah.
You met these kids before.
Okay, well, okay. So why don't you just all kind of say your names? They all belong to Frank. Not really Frank, but.
Ready?
Kim? What's your name?
We got some more kids down there that need to come up.
I'm Kate.
Come here. More kids?
Look at all the kids.
Come on. Come on down.
Deborah.
Come on.
Nice
No,
tie.
come on, you gotta come up. You got a present here. Come on.
Come on.
Come up.
Do you want your
on.
dad to come up with you?
Oh, God, what a mess. Okay, tell everybody your name.
Angeline.
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 Come here.
Come on, little ones.
They were all so excited
Uh-oh,
to meet
I think
Santa.
someone's afraid of Santa. Come on.
Oh, nothing to be afraid of. I'm not afraid of you.
And Santa actually, guess what Santa did? He brought presents for all of you guys. Kim, can you introduce your group?
This is Dylan. This is Carter. This is Bailey, and my son Ryan is hiding. He's afraid of Santa.
Okay. Alan, can we get the bag of gifts for everybody so Santa can get? So before we run out of time here, I think they're going to sing a little Christmas carol. But before we run out of time, we just want to say, Frank and I, we want to thank our staff for everything that they do all year for us. And whatever you celebrate, we just want to wish you all a very happy holiday and a very happy
Merry
and healthy
Christmas,
New
Happy
Year.
New Year, Happy Hanukkah.
And keep watching the show.
Santa's got gifts for you all. What are you going to sing? I told you all the practice.
Carter.
What do you want to sing?
Where's Carter? Come on down, Carter.
Who knows Jingle
There you
Bells?
go. Happy holiday. All right, who we got here?
Okay, start
why don't
singing.
you start it?
Come on, you start it. You're the oldest.
Sure, Tag.
Kate, come on.
Angeline.
Oh, Jingle bells.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is.
Bailey. Bailey.
You want to do White Christmas with the
Wait a second.
reindeer?
Are you filling in for Bailey?
I'll help you along.
You know what?
There we go.
Okay, so they got some music.
Where's Patrick?
Patrick, come on down.
So we want to thank all you kids. Come on up here. Look how cute everybody looks. You guys all face the camera and show
You know what we're
everybody
going to
your
do?
little
We're going to let them
Christmas outfit.
continue
Angeline.
with Santa.
No, come back
From
here.
Chicago Theater
I got
Review.
Angeline again.
I'm Frank. We got Gail
Something
here.
special.
We got Santa. We got the American Blues Theater, which I got right now. And let's get down and see their show. From Chicago Theater Review, we'll see you
Where's
next
Kate?
month. Have a nice holiday.